everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your very own sticker sheet using your Cricut and Design Space. This is really fun and really easy, so don't fret if you are new to print and cut. I'm going to explain every step and go into detail as to why we do those steps. I feel like there's a lot of tutorials out there, but they really skip explaining to you why the steps are important, and I think for somebody who's getting into crafting and creating, it's really important that you understand why we do the things that we do. Now, before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's completely free, and I'd love to have you as part of my crafty family here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to be doing this sticker sheet entirely in Cricut. It's really easy, and you can really make these very unique, very you, whatever you want to do with them. But I'm going to show you how I make my sticker sheets because it's really fun. So what we're going to do is we are going to make these with some name designs. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to start with the names, but you could totally start with the sheet. It's really up to you. So we're going to use the name Abby, and I'm going to make those little designs that I showed you in a previous tutorial, which I will link below for you if you want to check it out, or I'll link it up in this upper corner up here. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the text, and I'm going to use the name Abby. So I'm going to make the text have an A. And I'm going to be using the Pink Vibes text, the font. I couldn't think of the word. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to find Pink Vibes. But you'll notice that this one's only giving me the script font. So I'm just not going to search for it. I'll just go ahead and scroll to it. I want to use Pink Vibes Sans for the letter. And I'll make this way bigger just because it's easier to work with when you make it big. And then you can size it down. Now, the next one that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more text, and then this is going to be her name, and her name is Abby, and we're going to use the Pink Vibes script font for this one, and here you go, you've got your Abby. Now, with this, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. I am going to rotate this 270 degrees. I like my name to start at the bottom and work its way up, but if you want to do it on the other side, you can do that. You could also do it like across the middle if you wanted to. There are a million ways to do this, but this is the way I do it, and I kind of like the way it looks, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the color of this really quick just so we can see it against the A for our sizing. And I do like to make mine pretty big so that it takes up a lot of the side here, but I don't want it any bigger than the A itself. I want the A to be just a little larger. Now, once I've got this lined up where I want, which I think looks really good right there, I'm going to go ahead and add an offset to our purple section. Now, I don't want my offset to be really big because it is going to cut out of the A here. So I kind of just play with it and figure out kind of where I want it. And I think that looks pretty good. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to select the offset and select the A, and I'm going to slice them. And then I'm going to delete all of our slice results, and that's going to leave us with this design here. Then what I'm going to do is select both of these. I'm going to go ahead and attach them. And then I'm going to add another offset to this, click apply, and then you're going to add yet another offset, click apply. You want to select both of your offsets and slice them from each other. And you want to get rid of all the offsets that are solid and only keep the offset that is not. Go ahead, select it, and attach. Now you'll notice that everything is good to go. Now we are going to be making these into stickers, so I do like to add an additional offset because I like to have a little white offset that goes around my stickers. You do not have to do that if you don't want to, but for this one, I really do want it to have that little offset. So I'm going to click offset again. Now for this offset, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. I don't want it huge, but I just want it a little larger than the original offset. So just change that. And again, do this how you want. And I'm going to click apply. Now you'll notice that we have our offset, and I always just kind of like to make sure that all the parts are kind of filled in that I want filled in. You can definitely have it fill in the center of your A if you want. You don't have to. Once I've done that, I'm going to change my offset to white. What I want to do is I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to duplicate this because I'm going to make a couple different colors. So I don't want to flatten it right away, but I'm going to flatten the one I already kind of know. If that's the color I want, you can flatten that. But I don't think I love the color. So if you don't, go to your attach section and you're going to find the colored piece, and you can adjust the color to whatever color you want. Now this is a little bit crazy. Like you don't have to necessarily attach it as many times as I did. You can do whatever you want with it, but I am going to change the color a little. I want these to be pastel because of the background that we're going to use. So I'm just going to make it a little lighter, and I think that looks good. Once you're happy with the color, you can go ahead, select, and attach. No. Once you're happy with the color, I want you to select the entire design, and you're going to click flatten, and that's going to tell Design Space how you want it to cut out. Now it is going to look like your offset disappeared, but it's only like that because it's white. If that bothers you, just change the color of your blank canvas, and I usually just change it to light gray, and that'll help you see your offset. Now, you can do the same for all of your different colors. Whatever you want to do with it is completely up to you and how you want it to look. So what I do is I'm going to go ahead and select these 3 pieces. So these, you can also use the weld option if you choose. I kind of like weld because I think it just makes it less layers, but again, do what you want. So I want to do like all pastel colors. So I'm going to try to do like a pastelish red, a pastelish yellow, so I'm just going to try to keep them fairly pastel because I think it'll look good. Now, before I flatten this, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this again, and then I can select these pieces. And if you ever move something and you don't mean to, just hit the undo button. I'm going to select those 2 pieces and flatten them, and then I can just kind of stack them over here. Now, again, I like to change the color. I do kind of whatever color I think. So we did red. So now I want to do like a pastel-y orange. That's not quite it. So I'm going to go in here and just kind of adjust it to be a little more pastel. Then I'm going to select and duplicate. So I'm going to do this for all of my different letters. And then once I've gotten all my colors, I'll show you the next one we're going to do. Now that I've got all of those done, and I do like to throw a black in there just because I think that the black kind of just gives them a little more option. You'll see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I always just like to make sure I kind of have all the colors that I want. And I like to do a little bit of a rainbow. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I might do a little more of a pink, but I think the red kind of leans itself to pink. So I think it's okay that we only have 7. It's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead, select all of these, and I'm going to align them and center them. That just gets them out of the way. That way I can kind of play with my next ones. So the next ones we're going to do is we're going to make matching ones so that you're going to have a couple different options for name stickers. So I like to open my text, and then I just type in her name. And then all I do for this one is I just simply add an offset. Now, again, you can do a small offset, a large offset, whatever size you want. I just prefer a little bit of a smaller offset on these. I think that looks pretty good. Now, I don't like this tiny hole. So I'm going to take the offset and I'm going to go ahead and contour out this little spot by just clicking on it just to get rid of it. I want to make the offset white. And then I'm going to make the Abby, and I'm going to change this, and I'm going to use each of the colors from the original one to create these. So I'm going to go ahead and again, duplicate, flatten, scooch it out of the way, and then I'm just going to go ahead and change the color for the Abby to match each of the colors in our design. So you see here, we've got the orangey one. I'm going to duplicate and flatten, and we'll just do that for each color. So this one's really easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one done, and then I'll show you the next one. So that gives us the matching text to the one down the side, but then I also want to do one that's going to match the large A, just because I think it looks nice. I think it's kind of a cool way to make a sticker sheet, especially if you're going to do like a name sticker sheet. So again, I'll add an offset, and again, add whatever size offset you want. It's truly up to you. I'm going to make this one just a touch bigger, just because I like it against these like chunky letters a little bit more. Again, I'm going to make the offset white. And then I'm going to go ahead and as I go, change those colors so they match the colors of the other stickers. So it's the same process. You're just doing this for each of the styles of stickers that you're going to do. So again, I'm just going to go in, change the color, then select both, duplicate it, and you're going to flatten it. And that gives you your sticker. That just tells Cricut Design Space not to cut it out individually. So I'm going to go ahead, get this finished. I'm going to go ahead and do all the rest of these sticker colors, which there's not that many to do. And then I'm going to show you how to set up your sticker sheet. All right, we've got all of our stickers made. So now it's time to move on and do our little sticker sheet. This part's really fun, really pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my shapes. Now for a sticker sheet, I do tend to really like to use the one with the rounded corners. I just think it looks better, but that's just me. You use whatever you want. Now I am going to unlock our proportions here because I'm going to make this a little bit more of like a long rectangle shape, and you do what you want to do with this, but I'm going to make this pretty much as big as I can to fit within our print and cut area. So I'm going to change this from basic cut to print and cut. And then I'm just going to kind of play with my sizing a little bit until it tells me like, you can't go any bigger. But you just do you, play with it however you want, make it whatever size you want. It doesn't totally matter. I just like to try to take up as much space as I can. So I think that's probably about as large as I can go. Yeah. So that looks pretty good. That's a pretty decent size. Again, make them whatever size you want. They don't have to take up the entire area if you don't want them to. Now I'm going to change the color on this just for a minute, just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. But I want to put some space here at the top. And then I'm going to show you the little bottom part that I think is super fun as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my shapes. Now this shape doesn't matter whether it has the rounded corners or not, because we're going to do a little bit of slicing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of going to eyeball this. It doesn't have to be exact because we can move this and stretch it out as we go. But I'm just going to slice off a little bit of the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Now, this is a little bit thinner than I would have liked. So like I said, I can stretch it down. I can do whatever I want to do with this in order to like fit it onto my page. But if you're super unhappy with it and you don't love it, just go back here, go ahead, and you want to go to combine, and you can weld these back together and you can slice again. That way you don't have to try to stretch it. Like I said, really up to you, however you want to do it. Another quick little trick as well that can help with like sizing and where this goes, because it's really hard to see like how far up your sheet is. Right click on this and you want to move this to the front. You want to bring it to the front, and then you can kind of see better like how big your little top line is going to be. So I think that's a better size for my top line. So I'm going to go ahead and slice these, and then I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this, and then now I want to do the same thing on the bottom. So what I can do is I can either copy and paste this and put it on the bottom, but I don't want to do that. I find that to be kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to go back, grab another shape, and just kind of put the next one on the bottom. And I don't tend to want the bottom to be quite as large as the top. And again, I can either right click this and send this to the back, or I can send this to the front, whichever. That looks pretty good for sizing. So I'm going to slice it, and I'm going to just delete all the parts that I don't need. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of, and I'll see if it'll show. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm pretty zoomed in. It's not showing. But sometimes there is just a little bit of a gap between your sliced area and your box. So in order to deal with that, I'm just going to pull this down just the teensiest bit, and I'm going to pull this up just the teensiest bit. The reason that I do that is so that it covers up any area that it might get a little gap in and cut through, which you don't want it to do. I do like to just grab everything, and I'm going to go ahead and I align it, and I'm going to center it just to make sure nothing moved. The next thing that I'm going to do is I want to change the center part to be a pattern because I want the background of my sticker sheet to be really cute. So let me show you how you can upload a pattern into Cricut Design Space. It's really super easy, but before I do that, let me save this because we did a ton of work. So let's save this as Abby Stickers, and I'm going to click save. I always recommend saving before you like move on to anything, just in case. But what you're going to do is go to upload, and instead of image, you're going to go to pattern fill, and you're going to upload your pattern. Now you can browse for it or drag and drop. I'll browse for it, and I have it in my Cricut files under patterns, and then I have like a gingham, but then I also have like these seamless patterns here that are all these really fun colors. I'm going to use this gingham blue first, and you can change the name of your pattern, whatever you want it to be, but just click upload, and simple as that, your pattern is going to be available in your Cricut Design Space. Now I'm going to go back to my canvas, and I'm going to change the center of this to be the pattern. So when you go to print and cut, click the color, and then right under print type, change it to pattern, and you'll see here that you have your pattern. Now it's going to fill your page, and it might take a second, but it's going to fill up your page. Now what I like to do is I'm going to change the color of these top sections really quick. And for this, I'm going to use a little bit of like a brighter blue, but that just ain't it. So I'm going to go to advanced, and I want to play with this color until I get it to be something that's going to look good with this blue, and you'll notice that that blue's a little on the greener side. So I'm just going to scooch this over to be a little on the greener side. And then I'm going to kind of play with this, and I'm just going to get a good color. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to leave that. Then what I'm going to do is select the bottom one and make it the same color. Once you've got your pattern and your colors, select both of your pieces and choose the flatten option. And now you have the background of your sticker sheet. Now this is where we're going to build on top of to create our design. So for this, like I said, I like to put my logo on it. So I'm just going to add my name, and for now that's fine. So we're just going to put Corinne Blackstone Co. And we'll just stick this up at the top. Now again, do you have to do this? No. You don't, but it is fun and it's a great way to use your sticker sheet. I'm going to make this black, I think. Maybe not. Maybe we'll make it a different color. Let's make it pink. And then I'm going to add a little offset to this. But again, because I made it so small, I'm going to need to make my offset really tiny. And if you're having trouble like with your offset because your font's too small, make it really big. Then use your offset, and then you can kind of play with this. Because I want this to all be a single piece, but I don't want it to be like huge, but I think that's pretty good. Then what I can do is select the offset. I want to make the offset white. And then I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down, drag it on over. I'm going to flatten these because this is going to be a print and cut piece. And we're just going to go ahead and drag this. Now this is going to be another little sticker part. So we're going to have a couple pieces on here that are stickers that are not just the name. And it's just a fun way to have your sticker sheet set up. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the text down here. And this is going to be Abby's Custom Stickers. And for this, I think what I'm going to do is use the Pink Vibes little script font, and that way it's a little bit different. Then again, I'm going to go ahead and make it pink, and then you can make it big and add that offset. Making it big and adding the offset just makes a big difference. It's just easier to kind of adjust it. You can kind of get it a little bit closer. Change that offset to white, and then I'm going to go ahead, select the entire design, and I'm going to flatten it. Because that's going to be another little section that's going to be a sticker. But it also labels this as to what I'm using it for. That way for me and myself, and if I'm making these to sell, it's just kind of a little extra thing. So once I've got these kind of lined up, I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to go to align, and I want to center them, and I want to center them horizontally. That way they're really well lined up. I might need to move Abby's up just a touch, but that looks pretty good. Now we'll add some more things to this, but right now let's go ahead and get all of the text that we made, all the stickers, to come over so that we can get everything sized. Now, I'm going to grab these ones first. I want these ones at the top, so I'm going to go ahead, align them, and I want to center them completely. I'm going to drag them over. Now you'll notice that they're behind this, which is not what we want. So right click on this, and I want you to go ahead and send this to the back. Now, these names will still be on the front, and that's okay. I don't care. That's totally fine. But the reason that we center these letters is so that we can size them all at the exact same time without having to worry about like something getting off or whatever it may be. Now, you'll want to think about how big you want your stickers. I don't tend to go really tiny. I like maybe like 1.5 inches is usually pretty good for like these name sheets. I'm going to scooch these out of the way. Now, I like to line these up in rainbow order, but you do you. However you want to line them up is completely up to you. However you want to size them is also fully up to you. But I want to make sure that they're all on the gingham portion of the sticker sheet. So I think I can fit 4 across of the fat names here. And then I think I'll do like a line of 3. Now we may need to adjust some sizing and some layout a little bit as we go, just depending on kind of how big you want your stickers. Now I'm going to grab this line here and I'm going to go align, and I want to align top, and then I'm going to go to align, and I'm going to distribute them evenly horizontally. That's just going to clean them up, make them look really nice and neat. And then I'll do the same thing for the lower row. I'm going to align top, and then I'm going to distribute horizontally. Again, it just makes them look a little bit neater and nicer, and then you can kind of move them around so that they're wherever you want them to be. So far, I think it's looking pretty cute. But now what I want to do is I'm going to grab the names. So these names, these little fat ones, and I'm going to just kind of stack them all together. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to select all. I'm going to align. I'm going to center them, and then I can size them all based on that. Now, these ones I don't like to make really big. I prefer these ones a little bit smaller. And again, I like to put them in the color order. Again, personal preference. You do you, however you want to do it. And with these, I think I'll be able to fit a few more things around them. So I may use this section to add a few of the things I was talking about, where we're going to kind of make this a little bit more fun of a sticker sheet. So I'm going to just kind of get these all arranged, and you'll do that same thing. You're going to grab them. You're going to align top, align, and then distribute evenly vertically. Do the same for this bottom section. I'm going to go align. I'm going to align the top, align, and then I want to distribute evenly horizontally. Now, again, you can move these up a little bit if you want to, whatever you want to do. I like to try to kind of squeeze the different styles together a little bit, and then I'll show you what we'll do around the edges. So we'll do this last section really quickly. Again, I'm going to center. I'm going to size them down. These ones I like to make a little bit bigger just because they're a little thinner. So then I'm just going to get these all kind of lined up. And I like them to look kind of uniform the way that they're lined up, which is why I like to do this in the rainbow order. And again, I'm going to kind of move these down a little bit, I think, and leave a little bit of space. And we might move the other section down a little. And then I just kind of line these up where I want them under those. And again, we're just going to grab them, align top, align, and distribute. And then I scooch them up a little. We'll do the same down here, align top, and distribute. And that's just going to make this look a little more fun and even. But you can see we've got some blank space in here. So let's throw some fun little designs in so that we have a cute sticker design. So I'm just going to use images, but you could upload your own. And I'm just going to look for a daisy, because I think that'll work perfectly. And honestly, like, this is what I'm looking for, like pretty much exact. So I'm going to add that. Now you'll notice this is a basic cut image. I'm just going to click flatten, and that's going to change it into print and cut image. Now what's cool about this is I can take this little daisy and I can go ahead and place this on to my sticker sheet, and I can make extra stickers with it. So I can kind of place this around the sheet. And now Abby is going to have a few bonus stickers that is going to go with her design. And I can add some up here. So you're going to have a lot of little pieces that will be cut out. But what's great about that is it gives you a little more of an edge with some more designs and things that you can add. So I do like to just sort of stick them wherever I can, fit a few here, fit a few there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like, these are kind of more organic, but I just kind of like to put them in a few places. Now I could definitely do another sticker down here if I wanted to. I could, add all sorts of things, but we're not going to do that. So now you're thinking, all right, cool. You've made the sticker sheet. Looks great. Super fun. It is. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that all of the stickers, so the names and the daisies and the logos, are all held together exactly where I put them. Let me go ahead and click save really quick so I can show you what happens if I don't do this next step. So if I just send it to make as it is, I'm going to hit make. It's going to tell me my image is too large. What in the world? Ah, it's this. So this sometimes likes to just be a pain where it's like, oh, it's too big. All right, fine. So I'm going to select everything because I do need to size it all down at the same time. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag this a little bit until it says it's fine. Sometimes it likes to just be a pain. It's fine, whatever. Okay, so from there, let's go ahead and hit make. Now, the first thing you'll notice is we have two mats, which isn't what we want at all. But the second thing that you're going to notice is that this is all out of order now, which is absolutely not what we want. So in order to keep everything exactly where we want it, you're going to need to do a couple of steps. So the first thing that I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide this big box. I prefer to do this way because it's just a little easier for me to grab everything. So I'm going to hide the big box and I'm going to grab all my stickers. Now you can use attach or you can flatten them all. Both items can be undone. I prefer to flatten everything because it gives Design Space a little bit less to think about when it's doing its cutting. Now it's really important that this is a separate layer and it's flattened by itself from your sticker sheet because we want these to cut out of the blue. So now what you'll do is you're going to take this section, which is your sticker sheet, and you're going to need to duplicate this. Now you can leave it as a print and cut item, but I personally, doesn't really matter. Either one will work because you need to have multiples of this. You can change it to a basic cut if you want, but you have to do like unflattening and stuff, and that's a pain. So I usually tend to make about 6, 7, 8 of these so that we can cut around our sheet multiple times so that it cuts through the backing. We want it to cut through the backing around our sheet, but we want the center of our sheet where our stickers are to be kiss cuts. I'm going to give it one more, and then what I'm going to do is I select everything. Then I want to find my stickers really quick. I like to hide them when I do this just in case anything gets like screwy. I'm going to go ahead and select all of these, and I'm going to center them. But notice that the one on the top is the same as the one on the bottom. So you don't have to worry about anything. No matter how these are set up, it's fine. Then what you're going to do is you're going to attach them. You don't want to flatten them. You want to attach them because that's going to tell Cricut to cut around it multiple times. Go ahead and bring your stickers back in. Now you'll notice they're behind it. That's okay. Just bring them to the front. And you'll notice that it's all kind of wonky. It's okay. Select everything. You're going to go to align and you're just going to center them. And voila, they're all set up again. Now, it's really important that we do this next step. We need to actually attach all of this together as well, because that tells Cricut to hold everything in place exactly where we have it. And that way everything is right where we want it to be. Now you're ready to go. It's good. Go ahead and make sure you save your project. And I always just save it as whatever I want, but I want to make sure I save it a couple times throughout the process since this is kind of a lot of information. Now, when we hit make, what you're going to see is that our Cricut is going to have everything on one page. So the way we set it up, the Cricut knows that it needs to cut around each and every single name, letter, design, whatever it may be. So it's going to cut around all the daisies. It's going to cut around all the Abby's. It's going to cut around our logo, and it's going to cut around Abby's custom stickers down here at the bottom. Now, what else is it going to know to do? It also knows that once it's cut all those, it needs to go around the outside multiple times so that it cuts through the backing, which is what's going to create our sticker page or our sticker sheet. So let's head over to the Cricut. Now I'm going to use Neato sticker paper, and I'm going to use their glossy, which I think looks so pretty and is so cute for like these types of stickers. And I cut this with the iron-on setting. However, I will recommend that you make sure that you do test cuts before you commit to cutting a full sheet. I'll link down below a video where I talk about how to do test cuts to get the Kiss Cut stickers with the offset outside cut. They're called Easy Peel stickers, but you can also use this with your sticker sheets. Now, when you're ready to print, you're going to go ahead and click Continue, and you're going to click Send to Printer. Now, it's going to tell you kind of what it's going to look like. It's going to have your registration marks. Click Next. Now, for this design, I do not want to add the bleed. They're white around the edges. If there's a little bit of the gingham around the edges, it's fine, but there shouldn't be. My machines are really well calibrated. I do want to, however, use that system dialog. What this is going to do is it's going to pull up my printer preferences so that I can use these settings. So I'm going to use my inkjet printer, and I'm going to click on Preferences. I always make sure the correct paper size is selected, and then I want to change my paper type. For this paper, I like to use the photo paper glossy setting, and then I choose standard to high. And then I want to go under more options and turn off the high-speed print. Now, if for some reason you do not have these settings, go ahead and reinstall the printer drivers. Your printer drivers just weren't installed correctly when you got your printer and put it on your computer. It happens all the time, and it's just as simple as going to your manufacturer's website and then downloading your new drivers and then installing them. Takes just a few minutes. Now from here, go ahead and click OK and click Print to send it to your printer. Now the first thing we need to do is to load our stickers onto our mat, and so I'm using a Hello Hobby brand, and I like to just make sure I get this as straight as I can with the top of the mat, and then I get it laid down. You want to make sure that this little arrow, so there's a little tiny arrow up here, let's see if it'll focus for you. But there's a little arrow up there, and that goes into your machine. And it explains that on the Cricut Design Space page. Now, I'm cutting this on the everyday iron-on setting, but you'll want to do some test cuts with your material so that you know exactly what cut setting it will use in order to do this, so that it kiss cuts the stickers, but that it will cut around your sticker sheet. And that's the setting that I found works best for me. I'll link a video that talks about test cuts as well. So let's go ahead and get this cut out and I'll show you what it looks like. Now, once it's done, before I remove anything, I do just always double check that it cut through the back, which it did. So we're gonna go ahead and peel this off. And then you always wanna remove any of your like cardstock sticker sheets by flipping the mat over and rolling the mat away from your design. And then you can see we don't have any cut throughs on the back here. So we are like great on that one. Once you have everything cut out, then you can peel your stickers. Now you can use a pin pen or you just fold your sticker sheet back just a little bit and you should be able to get under the edge. Now I will say that this sticker sheet, like this paper, is a little bit thin, which I love, but for me it makes it a little easier to use my pin pen to peel these off, just so I can show you that they did in fact cut. I'm not going to peel it all the way off because I do want to give you a close view of this, but look how cool. It looks so good, so pretty. It cut beautifully. So I'll go ahead and get you guys a closer look at this. Now this is the sheet all finished. I wanted to give you a nice up close view. Now I did use a glossy sticker paper and I'll link everything I used down below, but you can use a matte sticker paper if you want. Just make sure you're doing those test cuts so you know what setting to use so that your stickers do what's called a kiss cut, meaning they don't cut through the backing, because you want to make sure that that's all one piece and the stickers peel away independently from the rest of your sticker sheet. So you'll see here, I'm going to take this little daisy off. Sorry, my hand totally gets in the way peeling this off. But all the little daisies peel and all of the little names peel off, plus the logo at the top and the Abby's sticker sheet thing at the bottom. You can make these any way that you want, in any theme that you want, whatever you want to do with them. Sticker sheets are so fun and so easy. Now, if you have any questions, by all means, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I want you guys to understand how to do this and make your own sticker sheets. They seem really confusing and hard, but I promise you they really are not. Once you make one or two, it will be like old hat to you and you won't struggle at all. These are so fun, so cute. They make great gifts, great sellers. They're so easy to do. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.